What's up everyone, today I'm showcasing an open Ultra League team with a very strong safe swap in Golisopod. Golisopod has very good coverage with Shadow Claw, Liquidation and X-Scissor. Because of this, it barely gets hard countered by any of the meta. The only real problem Pokemon being electric types, which are rare, and even if they do switch into your Golisopod, you can usually fully farm them down with Steelix and get a bunch of energy on it, which sets you up for a win in the late game. Or flying types and normal types Golisopod also struggles with. But if Golisopod lures those out, that's fine, because then Trevenant in the back doesn't have to see them and can usually sweep whatever is left of the opponent's team. I'm running Steelix in the lead as an anti-flyer, anti-electric Pokemon, but Steelix definitely isn't the best choice here. I think Registeel or Regirock are much better, because with the way the team is set up now, Alolan Sandslash in the lead is almost impossible to deal with. In fact, most of my losses came from Alolan Sandslash. So if you were to run this team, I definitely recommend you switch out Steelix for a different anti-flyer, anti-electric. Still, even with this team comp, I managed to go positive in all of my sets, so it is still quite solid. In this first battle, I lead my Steelix into a Tapu Fini, which is absolutely awful, so I'm gonna switch into Golisopod to be met by a Giratina. Now, this is one of the worst things you can face with Golisopod, to be honest. You are doing super effective with Shadow Claws, of course, but your charge moves are gonna do no damage. X-Scissor is actually more energy efficient than Liquidation here, but Liquidation has the chance of getting a defense drop on your opponent. And since I'm doing the bulk of my damage with Shadow Claws, I was just really hoping I could do a little more after they got a potential defense drop, but I didn't get it, unfortunately. After Dragon Claw, I really don't want to throw my moves, but my opponent stops tapping. My opponent realizes that they don't want to see X get much farm, so stop tapping, and I just want to speed up the game, so I throw once I'm at 2 liquidations, hoping that I might be able to get to the second before Dragon Breath registers, but unfortunately, it did, so I don't get as much farm, but that's okay. I have Trevenant, and I'm really hoping Trevenant can core break the team at this point, but their own Trevenant comes in. I see a little wink on though. In this matchup, when I first came into this matchup, I had no clue how it went, but I was hoping I would be able to Seed Bomb once, farm all the way down, and get the 2 Seed Bombs versus Tapu Fini. And as you can see, I was right in that hunch. So, as long as my opponent throws as well, which my opponent does. Actually a bit of a mistake by my opponent there. My opponent really should just continue Shadow Clawing, but I think they thought they'd be able to reach another Seed Bomb, but they don't. I have 2 of them banked right now. I'm gonna throw one into Tapu Fini. This will get a shield. If I could switch right now, I would, since I'm gonna win CMP in the end game anyway, but my timer just barely wasn't up, so I go for another Seed Bomb. Reason why switching there would be ideal is because whenever you throw a move, a single Water Gun comes through, and that one Water Gun could mean that they get the 2 surfs before I reach my Earthquake. So that's why switching out of there would have been ideal, but I don't think it was possible. So yeah, I had to throw Seed Bomb first, but doesn't end up mattering. I get to the Earthquake on the CMP type with the first surf, and this will knock out the Tapu Fini. GG. Next game, an Abomasnow lead. This is a Pokemon I haven't seen in a while. I don't think it's that good in the current meta, but combined with Jellison, they definitely form a solid core. Jellison, not that easy for my team to deal with, as both Steelix and Trevenant take super effective damage from one of Jellison's charge moves, and Golisopod really can't do much with its charge move. In this case, I think Aerial Ace would be nice on Golisopod, but overall I've been very happy with this move set. But if you're scared of Jellisons, or Tapus, or Giratinas even, neutral Aerial Ace damage could be nice there. Anyway, I switched into my Golisopod. I could have also switched Trevenant, but Golisopod can take the charge moves easier, and it also has carry-over value if they bring out the Abomasnow later. Because as you could see, I got a lot of energy from farming down Jellison right there, or it isn't completely farmed down, but just from Shadow Clawing the Jellison, and now I can throw 3 X-Scissors at the Abomasnow. They've got a double shield to keep the Abomasnow alive. I'm gonna switch out of my Golisopod. Clearly, they don't have a great answer, it seems. So I bring in Celix here. Gonna throw my Breaking Swipe to buff this Abomasnow's attack. I can probably farm down before they even get to a Weather Ball. And if I can't, actually I probably can't, but the Weather Ball will do nothing now. Ooh, they decide to store it. Good play by my opponent, to be honest, as Weather Ball wouldn't put me in knockout range, or doesn't knock me out, but the Surf will, so there was no reason to throw the Weather Ball there. She's just Surf, they're now energy dry though, basically, so I can farm down with Trevenant. I know they have a Weather Ball stored, but I have 2 shields, which one of them I can use now, and now, just gotta hope, something in the back that Trevenant can beat. But it's crafty, which is tough. Definitely a problem Pokemon for this team. Steelix definitely doesn't want to see it. Trevenant doesn't hate seeing it, actually. Especially when shields are up. Trevenant does pretty fine there. Seed bombs actually do a decent chunk. And I can even survive a foul play. So, since I can survive a foul play, I'm gonna let this go. Because I don't want them to power punch and then foul play me. So, I let that go. I survive, get to the seed bomb. And yeah, we knock out the Scrafty. Scrafty Obstacle definitely problem for his team. Especially if he faces in the lead. But luckily they're not that common. What was a pretty common lead is Alolan Sandslash though. And I think you can beat these, but not often. Probably like maybe 1 in 100 times. They're just very, very hard. I've tried playing out this matchup several different ways, and I think I faced 4 of them and didn't manage to beat any of them. So yeah, this is pretty bad. This is why I do suggest that you're gonna run this team, try out Regirock, Registeel, maybe even Excadrill. G-Fisk is definitely still a Pokemon you should use, or you could use. Because it's just better versus Alolan Sandslash. But, you know, as long as you only lose to Alolan Sandslash lead, basically, you're also kind of fine. So, I don't know. I still like this team. Anyway, they caught the Earthquake on Golisopod. As you could see, Steelix doesn't do horrible in that Alolan Sandslash matchup, by the way. I got a shield. Even versus Shadow, I always get a shield there with a Breaking Swipe, and then I have to throw, and I'm a shield up. And Golisopod doesn't do too bad versus Alolan Sandslash. But generally, the Pokemon I've seen in the backline also aren't super weak versus Trevenant or Golisopod, so that's been my problem. I'm gonna let that... Oh, actually, I can get to a Shadow Ball here. So I shield this up, because I want... A-Slash to be shields down, so I can Liquidation with Golisopod. So I get the shield here. Switch into Golisopod. Golisopod resist every charge move that Alolan Sandslash can throw. So I'll just let it go. But these trail runs are really gonna start adding up. Because this is a non-shadow, I don't think my Liquidation will even knock out. I still throw it though, as I hope it will knock out. I'm not too aware of my Ultra League damage ranges, so I was hoping it would just do more than I expected, but unfortunately, doesn't knock them out. And I don't even get that much farm if they decide to stay in. In comes Poliwrath now. Yeah, this is pretty bad. If I had Trevenant still, I would be in a good spot. I could Seed Bomb it, but because my Trevenant is basically knocked out, I'm stuck here with Golisopod. And because I don't have Aerial Ace, I only do resisted damage with my charge moves. Again, I'm going for Liquidation here. Pretty sure I can't get to 3 X-Scissors. And Liquidation is a little more damage than X-Scissor. It's less DPE, but more damage. So throwing 2 of these is better than 2 X-Scissors. And I had the potential to get Defense Rob. Anyway, right now I was just hoping maybe Steelix had some energy, but no, it doesn't. So I concede the match because it was over. Next game, Jellison in the lead. This is pretty awkward. I don't really want to switch in my Golisopod right away, as it doesn't do amazing versus Jellison. Oh, it does fine when shields are up, especially because I can Shadow Claw. But generally, I'm gonna have to go shield down in that matchup, and going down a shield very early in the match is generally not a good thing. So I'm gonna stay with Steelix for a little bit, throw a Breaking Swipe, maybe try to catch a second serve. I was hoping they'd throw on CMP though, but no, they threw immediately, which meant I didn't catch, as I was gonna try to catch on my second Breaking Swipe. Now, I might try to catch the third though. I do, yeah, I get to the Earthquake, expect him to throw at that point. So I catch the third serve on my Golisopod, and the Jelly is now low enough to where if they stay in, I can definitely farm them down. They bring in Charizard though. This is exactly what Golisopod is designed to do. Can get to the X-Scissor bait here. Honestly, a bit of a risky bait. But that if I go for Liquidation there, they can farm up 1 extra wing attack. So by going for X-Scissor, I allow them 1 less wing attack of farm, which could be pretty huge. Because I have to take out this Charizard with Steelix now. So yeah, I kind of need them to have as little energy as possible. Also throw my Breaking Swipe immediately there, expecting them to throw an extra wing attack. And then I throw immediately again. Maybe they want to do another extra wing attack, but they know it's too risky to do that. So there's throw the Boss Burn, which I shield, go for another Breaking Swipe. Out comes Cobalion, and now Trevenant is free to roam. It's yeah, this is a pretty good matchup for Trevenant. Stone Edge definitely does a lot though, and if they can get a bait on the second Sacred Sword, it still might not be over. But as you can see, this is how this team is supposed to function. I lured out the anti-Trevenant with Golisopod in the Charizard, and basically took out the Charizard, and now Trevenant is pretty free. I thought this was going to be a Sacred Sword, but I knew that I could do 4 more Shadow Claws here before I got to the Stone Edge. Then Shadow Ball should knock out the Cobalion, and I will have enough health and energy to knock out both the Charizard and the Jellison, as long as I don't throw a Seed Bomb into the Charizard. So I throw my Seed Bomb right in the middle of the 3rd Hex, and afterwards I should be able to farm down the Charizard. There we go, there we go. Another Jellison Lead. This was actually the game after that first Jellison Lead, and this time I decided to play it a little differently, and I catch the first Surf on Golisopod, which I think is even better. And I bring out Charizard again. This time I'm kind of scared to bait, because I baited first the previous Charizard. You know, this is a different player, but I don't know, for some reason I was scared they would no-shoot it, expecting a bait, but they don't. They shield it, which means I really should have baited, because now they have an extra wing attack, but still, it might not be that huge. Also, this is a regular Charizard, which I don't know if that's better for or worse for Steelix, to be honest. It's kind of worse, because I'm doing less damage with my Dragon Tails, meaning I can get it to more charge moves, but also the charge moves are doing less damage. At this point, I'm content with just letting Steelix go down, so no shoot that move, but they even tried to Dragon Claw bait me, which is awesome for me. Now they're definitely blast burning, and since I already have such like an advantage here, I'm just gonna shield. But they bring in Jellison, and I instant switch into Trevenant, which is such a mistake. Such a mistake. This is what we call a monkey swap. It's when your opponent switches and you switch immediately as well. You swap, I swap. It's monkey swap. But don't do that. In that case, I should have thought a little more, you know, not use my monkey brain, use my actual brain, and stayed in with Steelix, because obviously they have a better answer to Steelix in the back if they're going to bring in Jellison there and switch out the Charizard. Still, I managed to take out the Jellison with Trevenant, Seed Bomb the Charizard, take him out, and if it's Cobalion again, I should be in a pretty good spot, because I can reach the Shadow Ball before they get to the Stone Edge. And it is Cobalion. I'm trying to be a bit fancy here though, catch the Stone Edge on Steelix. Totally unnecessary. Honestly a bit disrespectful. I should not have done that. But, you know, it's fine. I can still get to the Earthquake here and knock him out that way. So, yeah, this was 2 of the same team in a row, but both played out very differently. And if I would suggest you a way to play it out, I would say do what I did at the start of this game, catching the Surf on Golisopod, but then make sure you get your Trevenant on the Cobalion and use the Steelix on the Jellison later. You know, don't switch in your Trevenant first to Jelly. That was a bad play. That same set, I also faced a 3rd Jellison, though, in the lead. And now, again, I'm going to try to catch the Surf. But this Jellison actually doesn't throw immediately. So that makes it a little tougher. I think that's rare. I think most Jellison would throw immediately, being afraid of the debuff. So this doesn't happen too often. But it did happen. And that does make this matchup scary. Because now gotta go shield down. Even gonna force me to throw a move here. Like I was almost at 100. I had to throw. It doesn't even do that much. And now they bring in Charizard. And this puts me in a very tough spot. I'm gonna X-Scissor hoping that I can maybe reach another liquidation. I don't think I can. But I'm just hoping I can. They're definitely gonna shield. So that's good. And I go for another X-Scissor. If my opponent has counted correctly, they will know this is not a liquidation. But luckily they shielded. So going for double X-Scissor there definitely helped me out. I'm going to no-shield my Steelix here, because I kind of need shields for Trevenant if I want to take out the Jelly. So letting that go. And we're just going to Breaking Swipe spam now. One Breaking Swipe coming through. They are almost at another Blast Burn as well, which is scary. They CMP tie here. Again, I don't think I can... shoot my Steelix here. Because if I shoot my Steelix, my Trevenant is just gonna get Shadow Balled by the Jelly. So at this point, what I'm hoping to do is shield this move, farm down with Trevenant, and then hopefully take out both the Jellison and the Cobalion I'm expecting in the back with Trevenant. Unfortunately, they baited though, which is crazy bait. But it means they get to another Dragon Claw, which could be pretty huge if it's Cobalion in the back. They've now brought me into Stone Edge range. Out comes Jellison now. And I go over 100 energy. Bit of a mistake. But I thought I'd just CMP. Honestly, that's a mistake, because I could have caught the Seed Bomb on their Cobalion. If it was Cobalion in the back, and that would have been really bad. It doesn't end up being Cobalion, though. It's Wheezing, which is really bad. If it was Cobalion, I think I might have had enough energy to get to a Shadow Ball plus Seed Bomb. I'm not sure if it would have knocked out, though, before they reached Stone Edge. But yeah, Wheezing, I definitely couldn't have taken out this. Just too quick to the Brutal Swings. GG's. Okay, next match, differently this time. Alolan and Ninetales with Powder Snow. This is actually quite bad for Steelix. I'm pretty sure I lose every single even shield scenario here, unless they like shield the first breaking swipe, but if the A9 is smart, I don't think they ever shield the first move here. As an Earthquake from Steelix doesn't really do enough to hurt Alola Ninetales. Well, it does hurt it, but it doesn't threaten a knockout. So shielding here would be a mistake by the Ninetales, and they don't. As you can see, it doesn't even put them into the red. They're gonna get to another Weather Ball here. At this point, they're in a range where I can take out with Seed Bomb later. So I'm not too afraid of switching out into a Golisopod here. Even if they save the Alola Ninetales, I can probably take it out with Trevenant later. Will be difficult, but I think this is saving the breaking swipe there for something else in the back is nice. They Dazzling Gleam me, which I shield, and then I bring in Jellison. Not ideal since I'm already shield down, but this is really not the worst for a Golisopod. I just throw another Liquidation. No defense drop once again. But we keep throwing them. We keep throwing. Maybe at some point I should really start going X-Scissor because technically it's more DPE, but this is fine still. This is fine. At this point, I'm fine letting the Shadow Ball go down. Golisopod can tank it. And they throw a Surf here, which I don't think knocks out. And if it does, that's fine, because I can farm down with Trevenant. It barely did. Now I can farm out with Trevenant. And I just hope it's A9 double water. That's kind of a common comp, or actually it used to be a common comp, A9 double water. And in that case, Trevenant's looking pretty good, especially with its energy. Does end up being Poliwrath. This point, I feel very good about this. Even if that's Ice Punch, I'm pretty sure it doesn't knock Trevenant out. The main thing I have to be concerned about now is that they catch a Seed Bomb. Like, if they catch a Seed Bomb, it's definitely over. So I'm patient with throwing my move. And when they switch in the A9, I Shadow Call them down. Luckily, they didn't get to a move there, though. They were very close to getting it, but I Shadow Called them down. Either one before they get to the Weather Ball, or as they were getting to the Weather Ball, which is great. Now I'm in Ice Punch range, though, so I gotta shoot this. And I go for another Seed Bomb now. I'm kind of afraid they're not in Breaking Swipe range yet. I'm too aware. They definitely are, honestly, but I wasn't too sure. So I'm just going to throw a couple more Dragon Claws for some fast move damage, then switch in Steelix, survive the one counter, and get off the Breaking Swipe, which will definitely knock him out now. GG's. Next match, we got Dubwool versus Steelix. I don't think this is a great matchup for Steelix, as I'm taking super effective from the double kicks, but Steelix is so incredibly tanky that after a Breaking Swipe debuff, I really don't have to worry about anything this Dubwool throws. It's 5 double kicks for payback, by the way. Always. But payback is only neutral, so I don't have to shoot it. I can't really switch out of here, by the way, as both Golisopod and Trevenant, especially Trevenant, don't do good here. So I gotta stay in and just hope that their backline is gonna be weak against mine. If they have a Flyer in the back now, that would actually be a lot of trouble, because I kind of need Steelix to beat that, of course. But luckily, I don't think that's that common. So yeah, we take out the double with Steelix here. Actually, very nice. That's kind of incredible that Steelix can do that. Afterwards, they switch in Jelly, and I bring in Golisopod immediately. I think that's a mistake. I think I should have thrown Breaking Swipe before dipping out. Because, again, this is not, like, amazing for Golisopod. Shadow Ball still does quite a bit of damage. So, getting a little chip with Breaking Swipe and dropping the attack would have been ideal. But still, I think I'm pretty fine with this. I shielded up the first Shadow Ball. They're going to throw another one, which I'm going to let go. And after that, I'm going to throw my X-Scissor right before they can get to the next move. Which should be... oh, yeah, they try to catch, I think, a Liquidation onto Virizion. But I was patient, so I didn't throw that. I'm going to throw X-Scissors into the Virizion now. You know, I'm actually seeing a lot of matches where Aerial Ace would have been quite nice. Maybe it's the way. I'm running X-Scissor, like I said, mainly for Darks. But we've seen way less Darks than Pokemon that Aerial Ace would have been good against. So... consider running Aerial Ace, I guess. Anyway, that game was over once they sailed Trevenant into Virizion and they conceded. Excadrill Lead. Now this is really rough, because Steelix definitely loses that, as Excadrill just way outpaces to Druids before he could get to an Earthquake, and Golisopod takes super effective damage here. I don't want to go shield down right at the start of the match, so I don't shield up that Rock Slide, but it does a ton. And then they bring in their own Golisopod. Definitely not ideal, as 2 X-Scissors here do not knock out. Look, again, a place for Aerial Ace. Maybe it's the way. Maybe it's the way. But, you know, once you start running X-Scissor, it's gotta be Darks, right? It's just the luck. Yeah, and now, since they farmed me down, Liquidation just does a decent chunk. They also get a drop, but luckily I don't think there were 2 Liquidations. So it's just only an X-Scissor. So it was a decent chunk, actually, which is crazy. Out comes Trevenant now. And they stay in. They might be weak to Trevenant in the back. Hopefully it's like Swampert. Could be their own Trevenant too, though, which wouldn't be good. I don't shoot the Rock Slide either way, though. ends up being Clefable. And I thought there's no way they don't shoot this, so I Seed Bomb. But yeah, I think there was a way to no-shoot that, because Clefable wins the zeros here. Or at least, I don't know if it wins the zeros, but it's gonna get to a move even if I Shadow Ball. And at that point, their win condition, or a win condition of theirs, was just getting that move off. Getting their extra drill and a shield advantage to the point where I could double Rock Slide my Trevenant and then drill run my Steelix. So yeah, really sure the Shadow Ball there as a no-shoot from them was kind of expected. At this point, I'm looking pretty rough. The extra drill is quite a bit of energy. I shielded this move. They smartly drill run just in case I catch. Still, we're going to try to go for a catch. Bit of a mistake, because as you can see, I actually end up reaching a breaking swipe because they overfarm a lot. I really should just throw my Seed Bomb first. I was worried if I threw my Seed Bomb immediately, they would just like take out my Trev and then easily take out my Steelix. Whereas with the way I played it now, they would have to play a little more meticulous, a little more accurate. But yeah, it didn't matter, right? I got knocked out anyway because I lost the CMP there. So I should have probably just thrown my Seed Bomb first and then hope they let me get to the Dragon Tail. I don't know. Or Breaking Swipe, I mean, but it wasn't going to happen, I think. Anyway, GG's, well played by them. Alright, this is the final match, Steelix Lead. I actually saw several of these. And what I like to do is just go straight for Earthquake. A lot of Steelixes love to go straight for a Breaking Swipe. This is where I played it differently. Actually, this was the first Steelix matchup I had. Once I learned how to play this, I started playing it differently. I just go straight for the Earthquake. My Steelix is pretty high ranked, but it still generally lost or won CMP versus most. So going for the Earthquake straight away helped me get in the maximum amount of damage. And I wasn't too afraid of a catch, because the only Pokemon I really don't want to see come in, if they were to catch, is like a flyer. And who would ever bring in a flyer versus Steelix, right? That'd be crazy. Anyway, they actually caught on Tapu Fini, which is not ideal, but it does bring him into Seed Bomb range. It's 10 Shadow Claws for Moonblast, because it's 20 Water Guns, which is 10 Shadow Claws. So we CMP tie on the Moonblast here. Seed Bomb knocks out. They don't get any energy off, which is great. And I still have quite a bit of energy left for Shadow Claws. Out comes Steelix again. It's going to no-shield this Breaking Swipe, as it really doesn't do that much damage. And I should be able to overfarm a little bit and go for Shadow Ball. Actually, I throw immediately. I think I kind of lost track of Steelix's energy, so I decided to just throw when I get it. Doesn't knock him out. They switch into Golisopod. This is fine at this point. I can just let Trevenant go down, bring in my Steelix, get off a debuff here, and then my own Golisopod should be able to finish off this game. Yeah, it's still at 1 Dragon Tail on my Steelix, which means I get there even before it gets to another X-Scissor, because it's 5 Shadow Claws for every single X-Scissor. Actually, they have Aerial Ace, which is also 5 Shadow Claws too. Yeah. But I got there in 9 turns with 3 Dragon Tails, and they need 10 turns for 5 Shadow Claws, of course. Anyway, now I'm just going to no-shoot this first move. It's debuffed. And what I want to prevent from happening is to shield this, allow them to switch out, and then have to no-shield Aerial Aces once they've cleared their debuff. So that's why I no-shoot the first. And yeah, they try to clear the debuff there, but at that point the game was already over, so they concede. GG. That was the final battle. As you could see, this team was quite solid, especially Trevenant put in a lot of work, because a lot of teams just don't respect it. And if you can lure out like that one counter a team might have with Golisopod, Trevenant just pops off. Steelix in his team was a nice anti-flyer, but I think there are better options here, like Registeel, Regirock, Extra Real, maybe even Alolan Sandslash. So if you want to run this team, maybe pick a different lead. Anyway, hope you enjoyed this video. I'll see you in the next one. Good luck with your battles, trainers.